We're back for week 11 in the NFL for the 2024 season. Licking our wounds again after another 1-4 outing. It's getting tough sledding out there, but guess what? It's tough for everyone. Well, again, a lot of the people that I follow in this industry are really struggling in the last few weeks, so we're not alone.
2-3 for us, by the way, on the contest. 2-3.
Yeah, 2-3 on the contests. And
24-26 on the year, which is nothing to write home about.
Right.
You
know what else it's a reminder of, and I want to just remind everybody. It's a reminder for all the members of our site and anybody who's not, not a reminder, but an introduction to how great wannamakebet.com is. Because if you are gambling real money, you're going to lose.
Oh, and you're down money this year. There's no way anyone's making money this year
so right.
far, I don't think.
But just in general, it's just so difficult to win betting the NFL. There's very little value. You have to be right. There's a ton of luck involved. But more importantly, it's just, beating the odds is so incredibly difficult. And it's just, there's every reason in the world not to bet real money. And that's why we started this business 25 years ago. And every week, especially this time of year, and especially now this year, we're reminded of how meaningful that is and how important it is to not be betting real money, but to actually be having fun with it.
Right. Unless you found a little bit of a sort of a gift from the gods, which is what I call it, which is I have an ongoing betting relationship with someone that that has now lost 7 consecutive bets to me. So this is my gambling handicap strategy. Whatever he likes, I bet the other side. It's as simple as that. I don't care who the injuries are. I don't care where the game is. I don't care what the line is. Opening line, closing line, I don't know. Whatever he likes, I bet the other side. And I've had a pretty good week. I've had a nice run here doing that. Now, when I bet my own games and I use my own brain, that's when I get into trouble.
Right. But that strategy, we froze a little bit there. Even that strategy, I think, is, look, it's like walking up to a roulette table and betting. Like, you see that it came up red every single spin. So
you
got to figure it's coming up red again. And a lot of times it does, but that spin eventually is going to come up green.
Right. Well, it's gotten so bad for him that he finally said, you can make the next pick. So I know that run's about to end because that's just the way that goes.
Let's go over our picks from last week. I mean, we don't have to cover the whole card, but I do want to commiserate a little bit on what went wrong. First of all, it started off the day great at 1:00 with Denver.
Oh, were they great? They were in that
game. Fully in the game. Oh. Great. They played great. Bo Nix played amazing. They should have won. I'm upset because 7% of the survivor pool that I'm still alive in had the Chiefs, and I can't believe they blocked that field goal at the buzzer. But either way, it was a no doubter with Denver getting 7.5.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about that, and they had heard. I don't know if they were from Kansas City or they had found someone who had done some research on the game. And intra game, special teams people or the people upstairs for Kansas City had identified some sort of a weak link on that or a tell by one of the guys on their line. And earlier in the game, they had almost blocked the kick and they didn't get to it. There were 3 or 4 attempts. The first 3 times they didn't get to it. 4th time they did and changed won the game for Kansas City.
It almost looked like, I mean, I saw some stuff on social media. One of the guys on the left side of the line, it looked like it was on purpose that he just rolled onto his back and let them walk over him.
Yeah, you're going to get those conspiracy theorists out there saying that, players are on the take or,
Yeah, no, he was, if you look closely, he was blocked, but did he offer much resistance? Absolutely not.
Right. Yeah, he failed at the biggest moment in the game. I mean, a 35-yarder on the road to give KC in the division game their first loss, and you came up small. I mean, You have to be at your best in those moments, not someone who is going to be laying on the ground. That's unacceptable. So
Yeah.
it's just a shame because Denver, when we handicapped the game properly. I mean, 8 points was more than enough. But honestly, I feel sick for people that had Denver money line there. I
Me too.
really do, because they deserve to win that plus 300 or 340, whatever that was. And
Yeah.
that's got to hurt. You start throwing these big underdog money lines into parlays, they can really stack up quick if you start hitting some of those.
Oh yeah.
So that was rough for them. I felt bad for those Denver people, but hey, we got the cover. We got the favorable line on Minnesota because the contest line comes out early, and Trevor didn't say he wasn't playing till almost Saturday, so we had the benefit of that. And Minnesota played horrible football. I mentioned him a bunch of times that I don't trust Sam Darnold on this podcast. That I thought the mistakes eventually would come. He threw 2 interceptions in the end zone, 3 total. But they did enough, they just barely did enough, thanks to Mac Jones, who's absolutely horrific.
I think Mac had 3 interceptions in the second half.
He did. He was terrible. He threw for 110 yards or something like that. He was not good. And Minnesota can still play defense. Their pressure package is very good. So.
And I was watching, by the way, because I had the Vikings in Survivor. I started watching like every play on my phone.
You must have been nervous.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I started feeling confident that Jacksonville wasn't going to score. So like I don't know how they got the 7, whether it was their offense scored or whether that was like a pick 6 or the defense scored. But I just started getting this feeling like we just have to hang in there.
Yeah.
Keep kicking field goals. No more turnovers. We had our 3 turnovers. Let's just eke one out here. And sure enough, they actually had a chance to get the front door cover, not just for us, but for everyone. They were driving late and they were set to win the game by 8.
It's crazy how Minnesota was able to
I think they went for it on 4th instead of kicking a field goal.
Wow.
Once again.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Let's talk Colts Indy.
Teams with a lot of turnovers ended up winning the game. Just look at Detroit, Goff turned it over 5 times. Houston let them win that game. I can't even believe it. That's not supposed to happen.
That's got it always must feel so terrible when you get that many turnovers and don't win the game. I can't imagine being Houston.
Yeah, no, I can't either. And they didn't score in the second half until late, where they got the late field goal.
Yeah.
But when you win the turnover battle in the NFL, you're supposed to win that game probably, I would say, 8 out of 10 times. I don't know the exact stat, but 80% would not surprise me.
Yeah. You want to talk Flacco?
So bad. I can't do it anymore. He's just throws the ball to the other team. I know you said one of them was kind of maybe could have been caught, like the receivers. Maybe it was off his hands and kind of deflected. But, we really weren't in that game for very long, just because the turnovers and Buffalo capitalizes. They're just a deep team. The offense can move the ball.
And yet Buffalo turned it over themselves and we had every opportunity to be in that game. And they just couldn't. And that's now 2. Now we've been burned going against Buffalo 2 out of the last 3 weeks. First Seattle, now the Colts. Buffalo is a top 5 team. It's like you go against them at your peril.
Yeah,
but we went against bad teams.
I went with them one week at home against Miami. They didn't cover. They choked it away. Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot. So we lost 3. We bet on them one week. We bet against them the 2 others.
Yeah.
That's 3 wins. I was looking at the standings in the contest.
Yeah.
Despite how bad we've been doing, I was looking at like the difference between where we are and where you need to be in the money. It's 10 games.
Yeah, right.
And 10 games is a difference between where we are right now and being at a 65% win percentage.
Unbelievable.
And so 3 of those on Buffalo the last 3 weeks.
Buffaloed.
It's brutal. And then the final game. Jets. No, we didn't go with Jets. We went with the Rams.
We went with the Rams, and that was against Miami on Monday night. And Stafford had a horrible game, and Miami's defense played great, like desperate football. Tua wasn't great, but he was good enough, right? And That was one. I think I saw Stafford's played 50 games for the Rams. That was only the second time where he didn't account for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you give the credit. I thought Miami was pressuring him all night. I mean, he was off his spot and he can't move. You know, he's not a guy that's going to be able to move. You know what I'm saying? Like, even he's not even really great at stepping up into the pocket the way like a Brady was, or buying time in the pocket the way a Mahomes sometimes can do it. You know, he has no mobility. So
yeah, but I don't think he has the blocking either, Chell.
no, yeah, his offensive line was not. They were overwhelmed.
You can't climb the ladder if there's no, like, that gap isn't there.
I agree, but we all know he can't escape and run. But sometimes, you know, if he had the ability to step up in the pocket, I mean, there were receivers that were open that he missed. I mean, he missed Cooper Kupp on a 4th and 4. He missed Nacua once that I saw. So there were plays to be had. He's probably not happy about his performance. But Miami looked like the desperate team to me, and the Rams looked like they weren't focused properly. Yeah.
That game, it became clear to me the exact same thing. Like, Miami was desperate. Three losses in a row. They had to have that one, and they got it. So I don't know if I necessarily regret. I would probably do that again, maybe different circumstance. I think the Rams are a better team than Miami, but they weren't on Sunday night. That's for damn sure. Monday night.
There was that historical advantage to Miami too, 12-2 all time against the Chargers. They just own, for some reason, they just own that rivalry. But the other thing I was thinking of is people who had Ram teasers, how disappointing that was at the end of the game, that he on a 3rd down kicked the field goal to cut it to 8.
Fun. Explain to me why
38 seconds left, because he wanted to preserve time.
No, I don't think that's why.
Yeah, I think it was because he knew he needed 2 scores. And listen, it's hard to.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it.
They had no timeouts left.
I don't think that's why he kicked it there.
Okay.
I think he kicked it there. Tell me what you think of this. I mean, I thought about that for like an hour. Why in God's fucking name would you kick on 3rd down? And the answer I came up with was because if he went for it on 3rd and 10 and turned the ball over, then the game's over.
Well, yeah, of course. Yes. Game's over. Yes.
So he took that outcome off the table by kicking it on 3rd. That's the only explanation I can come up with. When you're that close and you have a chance to score a touchdown, I don't care if you're down by 2 scores. You have to. They
weren't inside the 20. It wasn't a goal to go situation.
No.
So maybe he's thinking, if we get a 1st down over the middle of the field and I have no timeouts left, there goes another 12 seconds. Then we got to run it up and spike it. And all of a sudden, we're still not in the end zone. And then if we get the onside kick, all we're going to have left potentially is a Hail Mary. So
maybe.
I think that's how he was thinking, was like, let me preserve some time. This is a chip shot field goal, 35, 37 yard or whatever it is. Kicker had already made 4. Kicker looked good, you know? So, and, you know, listen, at that point, you know, the odds are stacked against you. And with these rules, you're not getting the onside kick.
No, but guess what? I had a live bet on the Rams plus 3.5.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people that had Ram teasers were fucking pissed, of course.
Oh, God. Before we move on to this card, I want to talk about the game that we didn't pick that we both agree on, and that's the Jets. Like, you were playing football Sunday morning. I saw that I had 3 choices.
Right.
That we both agreed on.
Yes.
And you were like, just make the call.
Saints, Jets, or Rams. Correct.
Right. So I picked the wrong horse.
It's okay.
But part of my rationale for it was I decided on Sunday morning. So tell me what you think of this. I decided on Sunday morning that you're a Jet fan. That, like,
I'm a Jet fan?
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's like you and all your Long Island friends they're Jet fans, and it's now bleeding over to you. Like, how I said to myself, did he on this podcast say he really liked the Jets? Yeah. When we know how bad they are, we know how dysfunctional they are. I mean, but I was with you. But you have more conviction on a week-to-week basis that they can turn things around.
Yes.
And look, you were born and raised here. You grew up here your whole life. You have a lot of friends who are Jet fans. I don't fault you for it. And you're a little bit that way with the Giants too, maybe even more so.
I feel bad for Jet fans. I do, and I want them to be.
I think these picks, these are like sympathy picks that you put on the Jets.
Well, I'll tell you this: last week was really based off the performance against Houston, which I think Houston's a good team. So yeah. I know they were banged up against the Jets, and it was a short week, but it's still a win. I thought Devontae did some great things to open things up for Garrett Wilson, and I thought that would, after 10 days rest, I really thought that this was going to be a high-scoring shootout game, which Rodgers is comfortable in, with Breece Hall and the weapons. I really thought they'd be in it. They went down 7-0 early. They got in the red zone twice. They walked away with field goals. They couldn't pass the ball more than 10 yards. The defense was atrocious. That I did not expect. And you know what? Kyler's probably a little better than I give him credit for.
Yep.
Arizona's playing well. They have weapons. I love the tight end. I have him in fantasy. I picked up Devontae Adams. I just thought the Jets would be able to compete offensively in that game and be in a 31-30 type of game, and maybe Rodgers in the end would win that game, and I was dead wrong. I mean, their defense plays like they don't care. And I got to tell you, people have had enough of it in New York. This is the worst I've ever heard the Jet fans in my life. I'm not kidding.
Like on the radio?
People are calling in saying literally the Jets have taken all of the joy out of football of their lives. That Sundays are joyless, that this is a chore, a miserable chore, that they have to watch this team for 3 hours, and that their poor children have been raised Jet fans by them. They're regretting it. Everyone that calls in is regretting the fact that they raised their children as Jet fans because they don't want them to have to go through what they've gone through in their lives. But this week in particular, I have experienced something I hadn't experienced, which was I will not watch them anymore. I am done with them. I'm going to enjoy my Sundays. I'm done with the Jets. I'm done with football. They're done. So now I think is the time probably to get on the Jets this week.
Oh my God. That's the last thing I thought you would say after everything you just said. And by the way, we've done that before. We've said that and done that and made that mistake before.
Can't
only to watch them lose again.
Follow them down the rabbit hole. Listen, it is the Jets and the Giants are fighting for who is the most broken franchise in New York right now. And I think, listen, the Giants had no expectations. The Jets had a load of expectations. You don't need to be reminded. Aaron Rodgers was supposed to come here and save this franchise, take them on a run deep into the playoffs, and potentially win a Super Bowl. I think they're 3-7. Am I right? They're 3-7.
They have 3 wins?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have 3 wins. I believe they have 3 wins. They beat New England early in the year. They beat Houston. And who else did they beat? Or maybe they only have 2 wins. Either way,
I think it's like you can't decide that now is the time, now that everyone's gone. It's not a stock.
No, I know. Right.
You know what I mean? It's just dysfunction. And we made the mistake. I mean, first of all, we said on this podcast that we weren't going to bet on bad teams. We're doing it. And we didn't even talk about the Bears game. But that was another
Bears offensive line was we got the word on that from Brad that morning. He did the research that 3 of their starting offensive linemen were out, and sure enough, they fired the offensive coordinator this week. I mean, they scored 3 points at home against New England. It's just embarrassing what's going on there. And Caleb Williams, they really screwed this kid over, in terms of what they did there with a lame duck coach and hiring this guy for 1 year, and they're going to start over again. This is exactly kind of what the Jets did to Sam Darnold, where they bring a guy in, they try and all of a sudden the coaches abandon him. They got to bring in new people. He's got to relearn everything. Like, this is a mess. Chicago's a mess.
But we went on some kind of historical trend. And my handicapping perspective last week was that, again, it was kind of like the Jets. It was like, well, they're coming home. They have a good record at home.
Yes.
And they're due.
They were 4-0 at home. They had played in some games on the road. I mean, shit, they almost beat Washington, and Washington's a real team. I mean, they had Washington beat. They lost on a Hail Mary. Yeah. A week later, they did not play well. They got really, really destroyed last week prior to this game. And I thought that was that second straight road game, and maybe they had a hangover from from the debacle that happened in Washington, and they would get things right at home and play a really strong game. They have a good defense. And let's face it, the Patriots are not great. What, they scored 19 points?
Yeah.
I mean, they scored
My
19 points on the
takeaway
road
from
and
that,
they won.
couple takeaways there for me were, and I want to, like, let's get into the card now, but I think there's a theme, right? And that for me, it's like there's no shame in losing to Arizona. They're in the lead in the NFC West, and you can't say, oh, well, they lost to Arizona, they suck. You can't say that about a team because Arizona is very good.
Yeah, that's true. Arizona killed San Francisco.
All right, so let's jump this week's card, week 11. We are 24 and 26. Could be worse, could be a lot better, and there's still plenty of time to run off. We got to get hot right now. By the way, and we still have to use a skip week. We haven't used a skip week yet, so let's go through the card and see if we can get some consensus on these. Starting with Washington, Philly tomorrow night. Washington's catching 3.5. It's almost begging you to take Washington. My question is the dysfunction of, Philly is like a 7-2 team that just takes the most criticism of any 7-2 team.
Because of the coach.
Right.
Coach is a moron.
Right. So the question is this too many for Philly to be laying in this? It just feels like it's going to come down to a field goal. I'm tempted to take the points on this one. I think it's going to
be a great game. I just think these teams, I don't think they played. This is their first meeting of the year. I know they had a game last year where Washington went in there and won the game, and that was a surprise. But
it's typically a road series, right?
Yeah. 3.5 seems like too many to me. I like the way Washington's playing. I don't know if Goddard's playing. He was injured. He may or may not be playing. If he doesn't play for the Eagles, that does hurt them because he's a weapon for them.
Yeah. You want me to check that out?
Yeah, I don't know if
it's too early, but let me just see his status. I want to see if he practiced today.
That's the key. If he practiced today, I think he probably did, but
yeah, he has no status. He practiced full.
Okay, so yeah, he's going to play.
No designation for Thursday.
Washington's had a couple. That Steeler game was really rough, man. That guy jumped off sides at the end. They could have got the ball back. I don't know if they would have come back and kicked the field goal, but that was a hell of a game. The Steelers, I thought, were amazing in the fourth quarter to win that game. And Washington, I guess that stings a little, and it's a short week off a loss. Part of me says, when you lose a game like that to a non-division opponent, you want to get right back out there, and a short week is kind of the best thing that can happen to you, Sometimes I feel like, it's going to be a great game. I'm tempted to take the 3.5 because I like that hook. What do you think? You think they're going to get blown out, or do you think it'll be close?
I'm sticking with the fact that I think it'll be close. They're asking me to take the hook. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I think I think that's always like a field goal game. And I also think that the dysfunction of Sirianni will rear its ugly head in a game like this. Like, this is exactly where it'll cost him.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't cost him anything. He didn't have to do anything against Dallas, but we saw what happened the week before. And it's kind of going to be like I think Philly's going to win ugly a lot of close games if they do win at all. And I would put this, in that camp of a really close game that's going to come down to some key moments and some key decisions.
Yeah.
And the ability to execute in those moments. And it's going to be tough. And I don't think, I don't think there's a coaching edge for Philly. If anything, I would give it to Washington.
Philly never has a coaching edge, ever.
Yeah.
They have a gunslinger coach who does shit from the seat of his pants, who doesn't know math.
Yeah.
Like
I really think, from what I've seen,
remember, he had a 16-0 lead and he went for 2. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen a coach do.
Yeah. So I like, I give that Dan Quinn, Kingsbury. I think they have an edge here.
All right, I'm with you. I would go with Washington here. I think it could be the right side, and potentially they could win the game. I'm on record since early in the year saying I thought Washington would win the division and host a playoff game. So I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's break our negative trend on Thursday nights, starting with a winner.
Great.
Next game is, I'm passing on this. This is Rams Patriots. Rams are laying 4.5 on the road. I don't really want to have any part of this. Patriots showed a ton of fight. It's hard to figure out. They're very variant. You know what I mean? Like, you never know what you're going to get with New England. Like, they could totally lay an egg, or they could beat, Cincy. Like, I can't figure these guys out.
I think Drake May has looked pretty good. I mean, he can run the ball. He's got legs that he uses. He's athletic. He's got a good deep throw. They're really not good on the offensive line. Ramonde, we know, is very good. A couple of their young receivers are playing better. It's a hard game, I guess, for the Rams. That's a short week and they're flying across country. I have no idea why they're laying 4.5. I can't really figure that out unless they're just basically considering that Miami game a throwaway game. I don't get it. But this is a very important game for the Rams. If they're going to be anything in that division, they need to win this game.
Yeah.
Like their leash is very short now, because you got to realize Seattle, Arizona has already beaten the Rams. You know what I'm saying? So if they want to stay in that division, in that race, and they didn't trade any of these guys. A few weeks ago they were talking about all of a sudden Cooper Kupp was available and Nakua was available, and suddenly they won a game and they stuck with this team. They got to get it going. I would be shocked if the Rams lost this game. Really shocked. Not saying I'm prepared to lay 4.5, but I would put the Rams in a teaser and take them down to win the game. I cannot imagine them losing to the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots are very good. I think they got lucky with that. The Bears offensive line basically was not even playing in that game. And the Bears are more dysfunctional than them.
Yeah.
So the Rams are a dangerous team, man. If they're clicking with those guys and they're all healthy, Kyren Williams, I mean, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see New England being in this game. But listen, what do I know? But
I do. If anything, I mean, I'm passing, but I lean New England. I wouldn't go to the window for them. But the Rams played Monday. Rams played Monday night. They look like shit. Now they got to fly all the way across the country and play at 1:00 against a team that's just gets very fired up on defense. I don't like the Rams offensive line. I don't like the way they looked against Miami.
Right.
I think New England's pass rush is as good as Miami's. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they started wreaking havoc on this guy. See, I'm not saying they lose. It's just I don't want to have any part of it.
I don't think their pass rush is as good. I think the 9 sacks against the Bears was purely a function of the offensive line playing 3 guys that were, bench players. But I understand you'd probably put New England in a teaser then plus 10.5.
Well, I'm not gonna. I don't want any part of this game.
All right, so we'll skip it.
Yeah. Raiders Dolphins. This is going to be a very popular survivor pick. This is like the Dolphins momentum. Like, the question is, did they turn the corner and now they're going to make a run, or is their season over? I would say a lot more people think that they're going to make a run based on the way the market is pricing this game. 7.5 just seems like way too many. On the flip side of that, I think it's easy to make an argument that that the Raiders are going to mail it in. That, the Pierce experiment is probably coming to an end. I think they fired the offensive coordinator this week. So there's a new guy in charge. I don't know who their starting quarterback is.
Is it Minshew again?
Well, I mean, whoever it is may not stay in the game for that long. I mean, let me see who they have as the number 1. It is Minshew. Ritter is second. O'Connell's on the IR. I mean, they're healthy. And part of me thinking they got a ton of problems on the offensive line. Miller, Whitehair, and James are all questionable. Defense seems healthy, but
is this Miami Rams game going to propel them, or is it a fluke win? They fly back and they lay an egg at home. I'm inclined to believe that Miami, with Tua back, has a belief off a win like that at the Rams that they can actually make some noise if they can string together some wins. The Raiders, I don't know if they'll cover the 7. I don't think they'll lose. I might even take Miami in Survivor because the whole nation's going to be on Detroit. So, I don't want to be one of those people that wakes up and says, "Oh my God, not only how did Detroit lose to Jacksonville, which you could never in a million years imagine could happen, but this is the NFL and shit like that happens all the time."
So, I used Detroit already.
You
I
did?
looked.
Oh, that's good
Yeah.
for you. So
Yeah.
then you can avoid that and root for Jacksonville. But I would take Miami. If this line ever went to 6.5, I would tease it down, to a half and just take them to win.
The current line in this game is it's
7.
7.5, so that's where it is.
7 on FanDuel.
Yeah. I
But
would
I get
pass.
what you're saying. I mean, Minshew can kill you. The Raiders may quit. This is a really hard thing because short week flying across the country, you have the momentum off that game, but it's very hard to get up again, and be ready to go again, especially against a team off a bye. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an interesting spot.
I don't want any part of my look. I may be interested in Miami as a survivor pick, but I don't want any part of them.
You can't take the Raiders, and you don't want to lay the 7. So let's skip it.
Right. Okay. Packers Bears. They're getting a lot of points at home, 6.5.
Is this the dead cat bounce game for them? Meaning they didn't fire the coach, they fired the offensive coordinator.
Right.
I would say if the offensive line is not fixed, the Packers are going to destroy them.
Yeah.
Off a bye. I mean, Love is healthy. He's got no groin issue now. And the Packers, I think, lost their last football game, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're going to come in ready to go against the team that they freaking hate, that they've always hated. And if they have a chance to run it up against a bad Bears team, they're going to do it. So I would like Green Bay in this game. Unless, listen, if the Bears get all their starters back on the offensive line and they have a new guy calling the plays, I could see maybe there's a spark there. But if they're going to play these same guys that they had, they're going to get run over by the Packers defense. The Packers defense is good.
Well, what do you think about the fact that the Bears' performance last week? I mean, sounds ridiculous to say this because they have obviously so many problems, but the same way the Rams didn't get up to play Miami, the Bears didn't get up to play New England. And playing the Packers is an entirely different ball game. I mean,
yeah,
Packers,
I'm not betting
Packers,
the
Bears.
If you're getting me to try to bet the Bears, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, we shouldn't.
I'm done with them. After what they did to me last week, the only more inept thing I've seen than that game, rooting for an interest where I had a bet on them, was last year, week 17 or week 18, Jets at Miami, where all I needed them to do was be competitive, and they scored 3 points in that game.
All right. You know what? Let me say it a different way.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't trust Jordan Love enough to get on the Packers in this situation, because I'm not going to be surprised if he lays an egg and Chicago suddenly wakes up and their defense is flying around and swarming, and it's just like, who are these guys? Where were they last week?
Stay away.
Right. Okay. I'm pass. But do you like the Packers? I
would be inclined to bet the Packers. I think they're going to be rested off a bye. I think they're a real team. I think they're competing with Detroit to win that division. I think they're better than Minnesota.
Okay. And you like Miami also, right?
I like Miami too. I mean, I know it's a survivor play, but I feel like Miami's kind of turned the corner here. I think they got close in Buffalo that day. Obviously, they lost. They blew the lead in the fourth quarter to Kyler. That was disappointing. I was on them that week. They got close in Buffalo. They got a win. They're feeling good. They should pound the Raiders. I mean, this game, if Tyreek Hill is healthy, I don't see any reason why Tua can't put up 40 points in this game.
Yeah. Okay. I really want to do our best from now till the end of the season to stick to the good teams if we can. If we can buy 5 picks and put them all on either the good teams or the games where the good teams are playing, where we don't think. Yeah. All right. Next game is Jags Lions. It's 13.5 here. I don't know what the story is with Trevor, but if he's not starting and Mac Jones ends, I would take Detroit in this game.
Trevor is not starting.
So I like the Lions.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Especially coming off a struggling performance. Goff's going to come home and feel like shit about his performance. Now, Laporte is probably not playing. So that's a big loss for Detroit. If he doesn't play, they're not the same offense. Okay. But they'll find a way to run it down their throats.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they have one of the worst defenses.
Yeah. Jacksonville's defense is terrible. Listen, this is one of those games where there's absolutely no reason to think Jacksonville could be competitive in this game. And, Detroit might do what they did to Tennessee, 59 to whatever.
Yeah, I mean, score 28 points on turnovers.
Yeah.
Right? Like one of those.
Yeah, I would be inclined to go with you on Detroit here and hope for the blowout, and just have a little bit of Jaguars money line money just in case.
Right. Okay. All right. That's two we like. Browns Saints. This is a pass for me. It's an ugly game, maybe the ugliest of the week. If
Jameis
anything, I
Winston
think New
revenge
Orleans.
game. I like the Browns here. I think the Browns coming off a bye. I think this game means something to Jameis. I think the Saints' run defense is terrible. I think Chubb is going to have a nice game, probably his first 100-yard game since last year. And I love the kid Tillman. I mean, I think it could be a high-scoring game, but I'm not going to say we should take Cleveland because they're a bad team. But I like Cleveland to win this game.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of lean New Orleans.
And I would take 7.5 in a Wong with them.
Yeah. The way New Orleans played for the new coach, we should have bet them. I think they're super feisty at home, and Cleveland. I think Winston will turn the ball over again.
Always does.
He'll have 2 or 3 turnovers. I know it means a lot to him to go back to New Orleans, but
yes,
it also means a lot to New Orleans to show Jameis why they showed him the door. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know what the motivation is in Cleveland at this point. I mean, either way, I'm passing. I don't want any part of the Browns.
Okay.
You like Cleveland. Okay. Next game, Vikings Titans. Oh gosh.
Where's that game? In Tennessee?
In Tennessee. I like the Titans, but I'm not going to do it. I don't. Yeah. I agree with you. Like, I got very lucky last week. Sam is starting to not play well, and I think this is going to be almost an identical. I almost feel like this is going to be an identical game to the one they played last week in Jacksonville. I mean, it's another AFC South team. They'll struggle to get the win. I don't see them winning convincingly because his play has just been poor.
Yeah.
And the Tennessee defense is decent.
It is very good. Top 10.
Yeah.
Overall and against the pass.
Yeah.
Problem with Tennessee is always the same thing. It's the offense. They can't really score enough points to be competitive. Even last week they had moments, Pollard, I thought for a while they were in that game at the Chargers. Second half rolled around and they just got blitzed. They got blown out.
But unlike Jacksonville, Levis, is capable of scoring. And he's also capable of a lot of turnovers, and the Vikings could totally ruin his day and most likely will at some point.
Yeah.
But I think if the Jags can hang around at home and cover against Minnesota, and I know it was a bigger number, but they only lost by 5. Do I think Darnold's going to throw 3 picks? Probably not. But he's playing a much better defense. I mean, the Jags defense is the worst in the league, and he didn't do anything. He scored 12 points.
Yeah,
he didn't score a touchdown.
I totally get it, but there's no way we can bet Tennessee. So unless we're taking Minnesota, we're not betting the game.
I agree. Okay. Pass. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Lead us off.
Game of the week. The best rivalry in the sport, the most physical rivalry in the sport, 2 teams that don't like each other.
My first thought when I saw this, why didn't they flex this game to Sunday night? Why are we watching the fucking Chargers Bengals?
I don't know.
This is a 1:00 game?
I don't understand the league. There's no reason that this game should be played at 1:00. This should be a night.
Terrible.
100%. Yeah. I agree with that.
The thing is, there's 3 prime matchups this week. We got it on Thursday night. You guys should be playing this game on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And on Monday night
should be Bills.
Exactly.
Yeah. 100%.
And they did it all wrong. Got Bills at 4:00 or 4:25. Fine.
Yeah. The league doesn't get it. Listen, Baltimore is a dangerous team. Someone in the press conference asked Tomlin, if he thought that that Jaden Daniels reminded him at all of Lamar Jackson. And Tomlin was quick to say, let's be really careful comparing people to Mr. Jackson.
Yeah.
Mr. Jackson is a
He did.
two-time
Mr.
MVP.
Jackson.
Mr. Jackson. We're going to see Mr. Jackson in a few days. I thought that was tremendous. He is
great.
still the best in the press conference. Steelers are home, getting 3 at home. This is a game that's interesting.
3.5.
Oh, is it 3.5?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take the 3.5. I would take.
And it's also 3.5 in market.
You know, Highsmith got hurt, so we lose him, which really hurts against a guy like Lamar. Lamar came in here last year late in the year, and they needed a win, and he threw an interception to Joey Porter Jr. in the second half in the fourth quarter in the end zone, and the Steelers came back, kicked the field goal, won that game. So that's fresh in his mind. Harbaugh's come in here with his teams and won before, and he gloats like I've never seen a guy gloat after a win in our building. So it means a lot to him. And we go in there and we win too. You know, we've won at Baltimore. So there's no home advantage here. I feel like 3.5's a lot. And I think the Steelers will be ready for this game. And I'm sure Baltimore will too. Baltimore's coming in off. Who did they play? Did they bury someone last week? Or was it I forget even who Baltimore played last week. Or
me too.
Yeah. But the Steelers had a tough one, obviously, against Washington. But 3.5 sounds like, I don't know, it almost sounds like fake to me that we would be getting that many points.
Wait, hold on. Did Baltimore play on Thursday night? This is coming off like slightly extended rest.
I don't know.
Hold on.
Baltimore. Tough game.
They played Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
On Thursday night. I was right.
Yeah, that was the Cincinnati game. Wow,
35,
that was the highest scoring game.
35-34. So they're coming. They got extended rest, 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the question: how do you feel about the argument that you haven't played anyone yet? Is your first AFC North game?
Washington's not a real team.
No, I mean, okay. I don't.
I think other than that, I think you probably have an argument. You know, the Steelers' first half of their schedule was very easy, and now the Washington starts the back end, which was tough. And we have the Ravens, and we haven't played a division game yet. And we have Kansas City on Christmas. I mean, we have a hard schedule now. So I think that's a real argument. I think that's a true argument. I don't know necessarily how good Baltimore's schedule has been.
Yeah,
I'd have to look and see. I know they played Kansas City week 1.
Well, they played Buffalo. They played Cincy, and they've had a division game already. I mean, they've definitely had a much harder schedule than you guys.
They had Denver at home. They blew them out. I mean, they went to
the AFC Championship game. They have a hard schedule, right?
Yeah, I guess they do. Listen, this game is a rivalry game, and you're giving me 3.5 points, and it's in my building. I'm taking the 3.5. It's as simple as that.
And what about, so the market is actually 3 on this game. What do you think of that number?
3 or 3.5.
Yeah.
I'm taking them both. 2.5, I'd probably be inclined to maybe take Baltimore.
Yeah.
These games a lot of time come down to a field goal. They do. These are usually not blowout games.
Yeah. Well, I like Baltimore. I think the Steelers have been a bit of a smoke and mirror show. I mean, you guys are amazing. You guys always play the best that you possibly can. Like, you're the one team that I hold up as like, you're going to get the absolute most out of all the players you have on the field. And I give all that credit to Tomlin.
Yeah.
Like, they are just
very focused. I got to say, this team is very focused. And this is like, no one believes in them except them.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I don't know about that.
They didn't believe in Justin. They didn't believe in Russ. They didn't believe that everyone's this is the first losing season Tomlin's going to have. They were 50-1 to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. They were an afterthought. They're going to finish last place in the North. And they're proving people wrong like every week. I mean,
this is like, to me, also. This is the ultimate test for this is the ultimate test for Russ, because I mean, let's be honest, he's been playing incredible since that change was made. Now, but this is, to me, the first actual defense like real high quality defense that he's going to
They're
play.
not a high quality. They're not a high quality defense. I'm sorry. I disagree
Yeah,
with you
I
totally.
agree. I agree with
They
that.
are not a high quality defense. Your Baltimore of years ago was not this
Yeah.
team. No way. This team blows leads late every game. They get lit up. If it wasn't for Lamar, they'd probably be 500 team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they lost Kyle Hamilton last week. He might not even be playing. If
Well,
I
that
remember,
was,
he
let me
left the game in that
I
Cincinnati
know
game.
the ankle.
Yep. He might be out. He's their safety. He's their
Let me
best player
see.
on defense.
Let me see his status. Kyle
I agree
Hamilton.
with you on the angle, though.
Question.
The Steelers have had a weak schedule the first half, but now it gets really tough. In fact, they have the hardest schedule in football on the back end.
Yeah, I knew that about their schedule, that it was
Yeah.
all backloaded.
So it was important to get off to a hot start, and they did. And now they
Yeah.
put themselves in a position here where Mr. Jackson, as Tomlin likes to call him, is coming in with Harbaugh on a real team. And listen, they just got Andrews back involved in the game. They got that other running back who's fast. He's getting involved. We've never seen a matchup with Derrick Henry involved with against us, So this is really going to be interesting to see if we can hang, with this team. I think we can. And I think the contest line's 3.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If the contest line's 3.5, I would take it. I would take the 3.5.
Okay. We'll come back to that. I lean Baltimore even at 3.5. I think that number says something. And again, I think it's been a bit of a smoke and mirror show for Pittsburgh, but they've been playing great, and I don't want to take anything away from them, especially coach, the quarterback, the addition of Mike Williams. There's reason to believe, but I just feel like they haven't really truly been tested. And I agree.
Yeah.
It's not like Baltimore's defense is world class, and I don't even think there's a world class defense in the league this year, but I think they're another
Probably right
tier
with that.
up from anything you've played yet.
Yep. Okay. Let's circle back to it.
Colts, Jets, passing. I have no opinion. If anything,
Are the Jets favored in this game?
they are giving 3.5.
I mean, is Vegas serious? Are they fucking high on what are they on? Are they on that shit that Breaking Bad was selling back in the day? What was that shit? That blue shit
The
that
crystal.
they were selling? That blue rock?
Yeah, crystal meth.
Crystal meth. Oh my God. How could the Jets be favored? But I'm going to say this again. There has been so much dirt shoveled on this team, and I watched Flacco. I've had the Colts the last 2 weeks like a dummy. He's thrown 5 interceptions. Richardson is clearly not the answer for them. I don't know why they're not playing Richardson. You said this a few weeks ago, and I think you were right. You got to let these young kids learn from their mistakes on the field. He's healthy. Flacco is not taking you anywhere. The Colts aren't going anywhere this year.
Right.
Let the kid should be playing.
That was my whole point. What do the Colts think they're doing with Flacco?
I don't know what they think they're doing, but you know what? Put the kid out there and let the kid learn. And I would almost think that they'd have a better chance of winning this game. Now, the thing is, Flacco did play for the Jets.
I know.
I don't know if you remember that.
Of course.
So maybe in his mind, he'd like to fucking stick it to the Jets, or maybe he just doesn't care. Either way, I got to say.
I think there's a lot of motivation there, and I don't think that's why he's starting. The organization thinks that this is not a lost season.
I don't understand that. I what's their record? They have a losing record, right? Aren't they 4 and 5?
I think they're 4 and 6.
Okay, 4 and 6, 4 and 5. Listen, I listen to a lot of sports radio, as you know. I'm in the car a lot. I listen to these guys. I've never heard a team with more dirt shoveled on them than I have this week about the Jets. From organizationally, from the owner right on down to the trainer. I mean, they want to get rid of everybody.
Yeah.
So that to me is, I'm not going to say I'm going to bet the Jets, but I certainly am not taking the Colts. No.
Well, I like the Colts getting 3.5. I think the Jets shouldn't be laying that many. And again, they're a bad team, so I don't want them to be in our top 5.
Yeah.
But I would never bet the Jets in this game.
Right.
Never. They're too dysfunctional. They're going to be lucky to win this game.
Yeah, if Flacco wasn't quarterbacking, I might consider it, because Richardson might have learned something on the sidelines the last few weeks from watching, and he has a lot of skill. But no, I can't put $1 on Flacco ever again.
Yeah. Okay, Seattle, San Francisco. Great NFC West battle. Seattle getting 6.5.
Off a bye.
Off a bye.
Metcalf healthy or not?
Let me check.
I think he's practicing MCL. He had a week off.
Yeah, he has no status.
I think that will matter. What happened the first time they played? Didn't San Fran beat them up pretty bad?
Full
Like they
practice
always do?
today. Noah Fant is questionable, by the way.
Yeah, San Fran owns this matchup, Jack. They always kill them.
Mm.
Something was a little weird about San Fran. I had him in a survivor pick, and I wanted to kill the kicker, Moody. He missed 3 field goals last week, and I erupted on my couch, and I even scared my whole family. Like I just erupted out of nowhere from complete silence to something that just was loud and nasty and just awful. I mean, I don't know where it came from. It was one of those survivor things like, oh my God, I'm going to lose.
Oh God. That's funny you say that because
yeah,
there's something about your survivor pick which raises the temperature. And I've done it myself where my family is looking at me in the way that I normally react.
Yeah.
My normal reactions can be, on the edge. But when your survivor pick is almost knocked out from something, it's another level.
That comes from deep within, man. That thing came up from my fucking belly. It like exploded out of me like lava coming out of a volcano.
Did you see Debo, by the way, when he did?
Oh yeah, I like what Debo did. Debo went up there and fucking got in the guy's face and the long snapper and said, "Get your shit together."
Yeah,
and you know what? The kid made the kick for the win. He did.
Oh God,
he did. And then in the press conference, the guy blew it off. He's like, it's competition. That happens all the time on the sidelines. That happens in every game with us. Like they made it like it was no big deal.
Right, right.
I don't know what to say about this game. I think San Francisco, so it's hard to be confident about him. I like McCaffrey's coming back. McCaffrey's like a game changer for them. Geno Smith, I don't think has been great this year. He's made a lot of mistakes. He's back to the old Geno. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, believe me, I do. We had him the last time. He's killed us this year, actually. He's definitely responsible for at least 2 or 3 of our losses. He personally. So I don't know. I mean, I'm inclined to like the 6.5 in this matchup, especially because I told you last week, I think like San Francisco's defense is not great.
It's not great. It's not the same defense that we want to believe that it is. I totally agree with that. They're not getting to they're not getting the sacks,
I thought that play also, that incredible play by Baker where he stiff-armed Bosa was kind of like emblematic of this. Like, I don't know if Bosa has the toughness and the meanness to fucking bury a quarterback into the ground.
Shouldn't he have just broken his arm?
Play? It was like everyone was lauding Baker for that incredible play. But I thought to myself, no one's criticizing Bosa for the fact that he didn't just rip his fucking shoulder out of his
just rip his shoulder out, take him down to the ground. And I mean, I couldn't believe that. Like he was almost dancing with him. It was weird, it was really weird. I got the same feeling as you did on that play. And you got to give Baker credit. I mean, listen, we say it all the time. Baker's a tremendous competitor. That guy loves to compete. He loves football. He can throw an interception and come right back on the next play and fucking throw a dart for a touchdown. Like he doesn't care. He has that.
And all I think about, and especially this year, all I think about with Baker is what a mistake we made by trading him.
Yeah, I agree.
On so many levels. And now, is he ever going to win a Super Bowl? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the Browns are ever going to win a Super Bowl. He
had you close. You guys would have been beating
won a playoff game
at Arrowhead. At Kansas City at Arrowhead, you guys were winning, and your guy fumbled the ball through the end zone at the pylon. Don't you remember that?
Of course, Dan Sorensen speared.
Yes, speared. Right,
speared
your guy.
Yeah. What's his name?
God.
Hollywood.
That was awful.
Anyway, what Baker was he's such like the perfect symbol for the city of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like that's another reason why we shouldn't have traded him.
Gritty fighter. He won you a playoff game.
It's an underdog city who's never won anything. Like, why wouldn't he be our quarterback? So that and the way he's and by the way, we cut him loose. I think he was 25, 26 years old.
Yeah, no, he was in his prime. He's still
in
his prime.
So and he still is. And he's playing better than he ever has.
Correct.
And it's like you build the right team around this guy, and I'm telling you, he could win. But
He would have been
anyway,
very good with your defense, and you would have been in a lot of these games. Like Deshaun is just he was inaccurate. He was not liked.
no, I know. I think it was like I gotta say, I think like the Haslams may have to part ways with Andrew Berry after this season for that trade.
Disaster. I don't know how.
I mean, that's how bad it was, and I don't know who's. Ultimately, we'll figure that out. If he keeps his job, then that means the Haslams were basically part and parcel to the decision, and I'm sure they were anyway. It's $230 million, and they own the team. But
the worst ever of all time.
Yeah,
nothing worse.
All right, so we digress. Let's get back to this game. I
would have a hard time taking Seattle here. I want to believe that Seattle can be good. I want to believe that Lockett and them and Kenneth Walker and their defense and they're coming along. And I don't.
I'm with you. If we took Seattle in this game and they lost and Geno did it again, I would say this is the ultimate shame on me. Yeah. Because I said it the last time, and I don't know if it was the Buffalo game or a game after that, but I said to myself, I'm done with Geno.
Yeah, you got to be done with Geno.
Turned it over too many times.
Every time. It's not, he's not the same as he was. The charmed ride for him, I think, ended last year. Remember, they had a bad back end of the year last year.
Yes.
They were good, and they had a good season last year. At the end of the year, he was not good. And then they made the playoffs. They got blown out by San Francisco. So yeah, I would lay the 6.5. If we like San Fran, I would do it.
All right, let's revisit that. Falcons Broncos. I don't really want to get involved with this. Denver's getting 2.5 at home. I like Atlanta. I just don't see the motivation necessarily, and it's hard to play in Mile High. But Denver impressed me once again last week, and I think they're a decent team. I could see them winning this game because what's the motivation for the Falcons?
Well, the Falcons are trying to win a division. Number one, they're trying. And I don't know if Denver can recover from that loss. I don't think you just shake that off. I think that's a brutal loss. I think it's very similar to some of the other really hard losses. And the next week, it's very hard to come back. I mean, Atlanta's coming off a loss to the Saints. They need the game. And I think they get sort of a mentally wounded team here. And
I know, but I'm starting to it's not the first time this happened where Atlanta can put up 500 yards of offense and lose a football game like they did to the Saints. So it's I don't know how they lost that game, putting up the kind of numbers and outgaining the Saints in every possible category.
Division games are very weird. Sometimes that kind of stuff happens in those games. It's very
I know.
I would be surprised if Cousins and if they weren't ready to play this week. I think they're going to show up against Denver. I think they should.
Second straight road game, Mile High.
They're the better team, I think. I don't know.
I like Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they bounce back and get the win.
2.5.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to trust it, but I think they're going to be really, really shot from last week. I think that's a brutal one.
Really?
Yeah, I think mentally they're done. They're cashed after that. You can't come so close to slaying the dragon and then vomit all over yourself, get a 35-yard field goal blocked, and then just shake it off and come home and win a game, the next week. I just think it's really hard. I mean, they're kicking themselves all week for that. It's I don't know. Let's find another game, I think.
Okay. Bills Chiefs, the last game. God, they really screwed up the schedule. The more I look at it, I can't believe that's not a night game. But Bills Chiefs 2.5.
Well, that's Bills. The 4:05 game.
No, that's 4:25.
It says 4:05 on FanDuel. The 4:25 game is Cincinnati Chargers. The night game is Texans Cowboys somehow.
That's wrong. It's Bills Chiefs is 4:25 on my schedule.
Oh, okay. So they flexed the Dallas thing out?
Maybe, yeah.
They had to have. I mean, nobody wants to see Texans Dallas at night.
Well, that's Monday night.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
That's
that's what I mean. That's the mistake. It should have been Steelers Ravens Sunday night or Chiefs Bills
or Bills Chiefs, right?
Right, and then you guys Sunday night and Bills Chiefs Monday night.
Yeah. Wow.
And they didn't want to give because the Chiefs are coming off Was that Monday night, the game against Denver? No, it was
No,
Sunday.
no, it was a day game.
Right. Yeah, it was 1.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons we liked Denver.
Yeah, of course. What's the line in this game? The Chiefs are getting what?
2.5.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Mahomes as an underdog, you think it's easy, right? I mean, this could be the year to me. I think that maybe Josh finally gets it done, laying less than a field goal at home. I would be okay with that. I haven't been impressed with Kansas City all that much.
Me neither. I mean, this is the end of the road.
This has got to be the time Josh does it, I think. I mean, they've been better all year than the Chiefs. They have a chance in their own building. They're laying less than a field goal. You got to win this game.
Yeah, and now I'll say this: like, I really like him and his turnovers. The Cooper and the Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman's out now.
He's out. Coleman's out. It's Shakir.
Kincaid is questionable. Let's keep our eyes on the injuries here. I don't love.
Is Kincaid questionable?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Let me see if he practiced today.
What about Mahomes? Didn't he twist that ankle pretty good, or that was just him faking it again?
Yeah, that was.
He got right up and fucking. He's a drama.
That was 2 weeks ago. He's fine.
Yeah, right. He's fine. He's always fine. That guy. Sick.
I lean Buffalo also.
Keep an eye on the injuries, because if they're really banged up, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to take Mahomes as an underdog. You know that, right? I mean, your whole life.
did it. It actually is eerily reminiscent of last year's playoffs, where I had a huge side on.
And we took KC, and we were right.
Yeah. And we took him again. Took him again against Baltimore in the AFC Championship game.
Maybe we'll do it again. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Next game is Bengals Chargers. Since he's getting 1.5.
God, I love the over in this game.
Really?
Oh my God. Yeah. Cincinnati can score against anybody, even the Chargers defense. And Herbert's playing much better under Harbaugh. He's really got his confidence going. The thing with that is when you bet the over, problem with the Chargers, they're so slow and deliberate, and they run a lot of long drives and they eat the clock a lot. So that's a problem. But I think Cincy can score against anybody. And the Chargers are probably a little overrated here. I don't know how you feel about that. I feel like there's a little too much Charger love going on for me.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's kind of a team that can come in there and sneakily win this game. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's totally agree. I like Cincy in this game. They're absolutely desperate. They're 4-6. They lost a heartbreaker to Baltimore. I know it's a second straight road game.
Yep.
But their season's over if they don't win this game.
I think it is.
I think the Charger defense is a little bit of a smoke and mirror. And I don't know. This is just a matter of will. You know what I mean? And I think Cincy has what it takes to beat these guys and kind of
hard for Cincy
bring them back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's be hard for Cincy to run the ball. Chase Brown's been really good against all these other teams. It's hard to run on the Chargers, so that could put a little more pressure on Burrow, like when he's got like 3rd and long or second, where they're behind the chains a lot, but he can throw it. And you know what? He's got a lot of weapons. And I even like Gesicki. I think Gesicki's been really good for Cincinnati too, out of nowhere at tight end. I think he's going to make some plays. So I think they'll make just enough plays on offense to go in there and pick off the Chargers in this game.
I agree. Okay, we're aligned there.
Yeah.
Final game of the week. Since Texans Cowboys. Wow. Why are they making us watch this?
This is the Battle of Texas. I mean, a lot of headlines coming out of Dallas for what Micah Parsons said after the game, kind of construed as throwing Mike McCarthy under the bus. I heard it. I didn't think it was all that bad. I mean, he was saying he feels bad for guys like Zach Martin and guys that are out there, and he really wanted to, win something for them, forget about McCarthy and that. But I think it came across as like misinterpreted a little bit, if that's possible. I don't know, but
I agree. And I saw even Jerry Jones, they asked him what he thought of it, and he said the exact same thing that you just said.
Yeah. I thought like the media
he's like, I know him. What he meant was he cares a lot about these guys that have been here for a long time. Right. And not to take anything away from Mike McCarthy, but he's going to get another job somewhere. for the next 10 years.
Right.
And these guys he's talking about have maybe this is their last year or maybe next year, and that's what matters.
Right. And are they sticking with Cooper Rush, or are they going to go with Trey
Yeah,
Lance?
they
They're going
are.
to stick with Cooper.
Yeah.
7.5 seems like a lot to me. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Is Nico Collins playing for the Texans? Because he didn't play last game.
He is off the IR and listed as questionable. He will practice this week. Expectation is he'll be playing. But I'm with you. I think it's too many.
I fucking hate Dallas so much. And I always, every time I have Dallas, I'm always saying to myself, how did I bet this team?
Mm-hmm.
They don't throw it to CD Lamb. They can't run the ball. They don't stop the run. They can't guard anyone. They don't pressure the quarterback. They have a backup quarterback starting. I mean, I know CJ Stroud has had his struggles. And man, he did not look good in the second half of that game the other night against Detroit. But Detroit does that to a lot of teams. Their defense is very good, you know?
Yeah.
So 7.5 seems like a lot to me. But if I guess if we had to bet it, we probably better off taking Houston. At least they're a team with a chance to do something. I think Dallas's season is probably over, right? I mean, what do they have? 3 wins?
Yeah. The problem is, unlike the Eagles, who have a lot of dysfunction, they have so much firepower on offense, and everything that the Eagles.
Yes.
So I wasn't that surprised that they covered. But if Houston covers this number, I'm going to be very surprised. Just the way their offense has looked the past 2 months.
I know they've been playing without Nico Collins. If you get Nico Collins back, even without Diggs, now you have Collins and Dell with the tight end Dalton Schultz, and Mixon's been great. Mixon's been running the ball well. So that it's all about Nico Collins to me. But the Texans are not a strong offensive team without him on the field. He was leading the league in receiving when they had him. So he's a really big loss, for them.
I don't disagree with that, but even when he was on the field, their offense wasn't, I don't know, there was something about it that wasn't like so, like incredible to me.
Right. Yeah. So 7.5 to you seems like a lot.
Now they have the dominant defense, so it's tough.
Is Will Anderson playing? We don't even know that.
He
didn't play last game, and they still ended up fighting hard in that game and playing hard, at home in that game. This seems like a game that Dallas can stay in to me with 7.5. It just would make me really sick to bet on Dallas. That's what I'm trying to say.
Me too. I won't do it.
I don't know if I can do it, but if we want to avoid bad teams, we certainly can't be betting Dallas.
I agree. All right, let's watch the injuries. Let's see what the story is with Nico.
Very important to watch them. Yes, I agree with that for sure.
But right now, I definitely won't take Dallas, and I'm reluctant to take Houston.
Yeah, you can't trust the offense, so forget it. There's no way you can trust it to lay that kind of a number on the road. And listen, I don't know, maybe the Battle of Texas actually matters to these teams. I don't know. I mean,
I think it does.
It probably does definitely.
That to me is a vote for Dallas in this game. Look, they're the kings of Texas. They're not going to get knocked off by these guys.
Right.
So
it's like Jets Giants. It matters.
That's right. So if they win this game, it won't surprise me at all. At all.
I think that would be a real blow to Houston's playoff chances, man. Houston can't afford to slip up again and lose to a bad NFC team like this. I mean, lose to Detroit is one thing. I mean, everybody loses to Detroit. But lose to Dallas would be really a tough pill to swallow. So let's watch Nico Collins and see where he is. Because if he doesn't play, I think, we maybe be inclined to take the points and just roll the dice on a Monday night. I like having action on Monday nights. I think it's, it's fun sometimes to do. Yeah, it's fun to watch a game. But
all right, so right now we only agree on Washington, Detroit, and Cincy. So let's just track all these other games where maybe we passed on, or where you liked one side and I liked the other. I'll try to do some selling. You'll try to do some selling, and we'll try to get 5. And if not, at least from a contest perspective, we can always pass this week if we just think
That's
it's too
true.
ugly.
If we can't get to 5, we can always pass is right. But let's
Yeah,
see if
we have to anyway at some point.
we can convince each other maybe.
Yeah, got to do
Not
some
like we've been
selling.
hot, so maybe it's smart to maybe take a week off.
Yeah, I liked how you called me at 2 o'clock on Sunday and wanted to change the Rams pick.
Yeah, because I thought you can do it by game times, but I guess I was wrong. Yeah, exactly. Because in my pick pool, you can change the games up until kickoff. Like you can change your picks around. They're
Oh,
not locked in.
you can only do that for the Thursday games.
Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, buddy. Good pod. Thanks, everyone. Looking forward to seeing y'all at the site this weekend. College football is really heating up. I love seeing the top 12 teams. My God.
College football's heating up.
Georgia plays Tennessee and has a chance to basically knock them out and get their spot back that they lost in the Ole Miss game.
Yeah, off a loss, right? Exactly. How about Alabama showing up like that at Death Valley? That was something.
Josh always told me that's a road series.
He did?
Yeah, way back in the day. Way back in the day.
Unbelievable. Wow.
All right, everyone. WannaMakeABet.com is rocking. See y'all at the site. Cello, I'll talk to you soon.
Hang in there, Jet fans.
Yeah. This could be the week.
This could be it. See you later, brother. Oh, man.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Hang in there, Jet.
I like the Colts.